remember.
Oh, could it have been perhaps welcome to episode 2?
Oh, of the Resident Evil one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this episode 2?
No, it's episode 3.
Welcome to episode 3.
Right, you can tell how organized we are.
Yeah. We didn't record a proper intro for this episode, so here we are. Yeah. Be on the lookout for more projects.
That's our intro. All right. Let's go.
Yeah, today we watched Resident Evil Damnation.
Yes.
It takes place in between Resident Evil 5 and 6.
Yes, and I guess we'll be spoiling up to Resident Evil 5 for the games.
Yep.
If you haven't played those or care.
Yeah, and also we are releasing gameplay of us playing co-op.
Yes.
Resident Evil 5.
Yeah, if you want to know what happens in Resident Evil 5 right before this movie, you could go watch us play it.
Honestly, I would say our videos are way more entertaining than this movie.
Really? You didn't like it?
I thought it was... All right, so I'll say it follows Leon Kennedy, and it's basically him going through this country that's at like civil war, and same shit as always. The Plagas and like some tyrants get released, like big zombies, creepy undead things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's a very Resident Evil story.
I think it's because I am currently playing through the games, and I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Yeah,
I had a great time watching this movie.
Leon was true to himself, you know?
Yeah.
I liked his like weird, like kind of like dumb, campy dialogue.
He had some awesome one-liners.
Exactly. Total in tune with like the total scope of the RE universe, just kind of campy, over the top. I was going to say this, I wanted to mention the animation, because I feel like this is, so it's like hyper rendered.
I've got some Leon quotes that I just wanted to read off really quick. So after is it DJ or TJ, the one like comic relief character that dies? JD, that's right. After he gets possessed by the Plaga, Leon says, "I was looking forward to showing you America." That
character also had some great quotes.
Yeah,
JD. There's a lot of really dumb quotes in this movie.
And then I think there's a scene with the liquors, and Leon's like, "I keep saying these things make bad pets."
Yep.
And when does he say, "Sorry, but I don't have..." Oh, it's so he's walking down the corridor, and there's the 2 liquors, and he's like trying to be silent, and the zombie grabs onto his leg, and he's like, "Sorry, don't have time to chat right now."
Yep. Also,
those are my favorite Leon quotes.
Also, the fact that there was 2 times in the movie where he was like, "Oh, come on, man. All I want is some breakfast."
Yeah, or he also mentioned his vacation a lot, too. Like,
yeah, he's like, "I'm supposed to be on vacation right now."
Yeah. No, I loved it. It was true to the character. It was definitely Leon.
Yeah, it definitely was.
No, but I agree. Let's talk about the animation.
Do you like that style of animation?
So I thought that I was going to find it uncanny.
Yeah.
Because of like I really don't like the Robert Zemeckis, like Beowulf and The Night Before Christmas.
I feel like the latest modern thing that most people would know that's kind of like
Express.
I'd say Love, Death, and Robots, because like those are like old, but like this movie looked realistic to an extent, you know, kind of like the Love, Death, and Robots.
Yes. I didn't even think about it like that, but you're right. It is very like the Love, Death, Robots, but usually I would think it's uncanny.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find it uncanny?
No, it wasn't that bad.
The mindset that I had to put myself in is that it was just a giant cutscene that we were watching.
Like from the game?
Yeah, from the game. Because it looked a lot like the RE6 cutscenes. Like there's literally the part during the trailer where they show cutscenes from the game, and it looks just like that. I don't know if they still do this, because I don't really watch a lot of game trailers anymore, but do they still do like cinematic trailers? I know it was big during like the PS3 era. Like the one that sticks out in my mind is there was this Arkham City.
Or like the cinematic, not like, but like specifically animated, not like something out of the game. Because they have like cinematic trailers, and then they have like gameplay trailers, but like something that was made specifically animated specifically to market it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like it's not like footage taken in game.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like what sticks out in my mind is there was like a cinematic trailer for Arkham City, and it looked so cool. And it's like Batman taking out all these dudes.
Yeah.
And then when you get Arkham City, like obviously that's not what the graphics are like. Like, and being a kid, I was so disappointed that the graphics were not as good as it looked in that cinematic trailer. But I don't know.
That's a shame. I'm sorry.
That's the first time I remember like feeling like almost like the game is awesome, but I felt like duped, you know?
That's fair.
But the movie looked a lot like that to me. It was like a big cinematic trailer.
Yeah. I will say, I don't think this is a movie where if you don't know it, or if you have like no connection to Resident Evil, this movie's not going to draw in any new fans, you know? Like if this was my first introduction to Resident Evil, I'd be like, well, that was fucking dumb.
Yeah. I'm wondering if, please let us know if you're out there listening. if you decided to watch this movie because of us and you have no prior knowledge to Resident Evil, please let us know what you thought of this movie.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to know.
Very curious. I don't think there's going to be very many people that decide to watch this movie because we recommend it, but
I don't think I'd recommend it. Would you recommend it to a Resident Evil fan? At the very least, would you recommend this movie?
I would recommend it to a Resident Evil fan. I'm saying, like, at the end of the last episode, did anyone decide to watch this movie because we told them to?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
What did you and you had no prior knowledge of Resident Evil? Like, what does a non-Resident Evil? What does an RE casual think going into this movie?
I'd be very curious to know as well. I'd be very curious to know.
I would definitely recommend it to an RE fan. Like, I'm not going to lie, I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was not one part of this movie that I wasn't entertained.
What was your favorite Old Yeller scene?
Old Yeller scene? What?
You know where Leon, there's 2 scenes. There might have been 3 scenes where it was like someone was like turning and then one of the guy had to walk over with the pistol and be like, I'm sorry, buddy. You were always my friends. Tin, tin. They have to shoot him in the head.
Yeah, but that's in like all zombie stuff where it's like, oh no, Carl turned into a zombie. Carl!
Yeah. I don't know. I felt maybe it was just like the over-the-top campiness of Resident Evil that made it stick out more to me.
It's funny though, like Old Yeller scenes.
But yeah, they had to put him out of his misery.
That is hilarious.
Can we talk about the last Old Yeller scene?
Yes.
Okay, so at the end, there's this one character that works with Leon, and he can like control this one variant of like these zombie like dog things. They're called lickers.
He was maybe he wasn't a good Brad Pitt in 12 Monkeys for this movie, but he was kind of like the throwaway antagonist, you know, like it seems like he's the villain and then there's a secret villain later on. Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. But at the end, he takes like the reason he's able to control some of the zombies that get released is because he took like
they're not zombies, they're plagas.
Well, aren't the lickers zombies?
I don't know. I also want to talk about the lickers, but let's talk about this
he can control the lickers, which are like these like quadrupedal, like no skin, like just creepy looking things. If you haven't played the games or anything like that, but he's infected by this thing because he's controlling them. So Leon decides, he's like, well, you can either die today or I can shoot you and save you. You just won't have the use of your appendages, but you will be saved.
No, I don't think Leon was going to let him die. Yeah, because he was the only one that knew. He's like, you're going to get crippled. Yeah. And you have to keep living for your friends.
So Leon shot him and crippled him so he could like live without the like infection in his body. And then the last scene, the whole movie ends and the credits roll and they're like, oh yeah, all right, that was fun. That was a good movie. Let's go talk. And then like 20, not even 20 seconds, the after credit scene or mid credit scene is him rolling up a like hill in his wheelchair.
into the sunrise.
Like, into the sunrise. Like, you can't make that up. Like, when it came on, I was like, there's no way. There's no way.
He learned his lesson at the end. See, I think it's funny that when the two tyrants were like attacking them, or maybe it was just the one tyrant, and
tyrants are like big, beefy zombie dudes, like the guys that
big bald guy that turned in like the big mutated.
If you know like Nemesis or anything like that from other Resident Evil stuff.
Yeah, but if you didn't know Resident Evil, it's the big bald guys.
Yeah,
and so he says after they defeat the one in the tank, he's like, I would have never thought these made good pets. Wait. No. I never would have thought that I would have got saved by them. You know?
Something like that.
So it was like, and Leon has a quote earlier when he's talking about, he makes it, I don't know if it's a direct quote, but he makes it seem like there should be no reason to use BOWs, you know? Like, there's no excuse to be using these. But that line where he's like, I never would have thought these would have saved me. Like, Leon learns there is a scenario where it's okay to use BOWs.
True.
I guess it's to fight other BOWs. And then Leon turns around and is like, oh, but this guy that used BOWs, you're going to get crippled.
Yeah. I just can't believe that's how the movie ends, with Leon crippling somebody.
But they did establish that it like affects your spinal cord, and the only way to like save someone is to like sever it at the spinal cord. You're going to be crippled, but you're going to be in control of yourself. You're not going to become a zombie.
Yeah.
So they did establish it, and he was he learned his lesson. Now he's happy in his wheelchair making it up the hill.
And this is lore. This takes place.
This is canon.
So in lore, Leon crippled somebody.
But like I feel like I'm not mad about it, you know?
I just think it's funny that Leon crippled somebody in like the lore. They're like, why'd you get like, that's kind of a weird thing to add in, guys.
But like the character deserved it and he learned his lesson, you know?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like egregious or I don't know. I agree. It is funny.
It was pretty hilarious.
That Leon he cripples Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
He's the Joker.
He is the Joker.
Okay, so with the liquors, I have questions. Are the liquors like over mutated zombies, or are liquors like their own thing? Do you know? Like,
I think they're their own thing.
Yeah. But like, how do you get liquors from plagas? I feel like liquors is maybe it's explained in the notes that we didn't read in number 5, but
yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know if I like this design of the liquors. I like when the brain is like huge.
It looked like the ones you typically see, I felt like.
Yeah, but I feel like in RE2 and the remake at least, they're like more like wide. Like the brains are like a little bit bigger on the sides.
Okay.
I don't like the proportions of the head on this liquor, I guess.
Okay. That's an interesting criticism. Yeah, I didn't see too much of a difference.
Mm-hmm. They were all right, though.
What do you think is better, the T-Virus or Plagas?
Plagas is more interesting to me. For those that don't know, the T-Virus is just regular zombies.
And then Plagas is like this parasite that controls people.
Mm-hmm.
And they turn into like creatures with like predator mouths.
And they're kind of like controllable zombies.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So it's like with the T-Virus, that's the first 3 games. And it's very uncontrollable. They lose Raccoon City. But the Plagas, like, to me,
there's like the evolution of it.
Yeah, they're controllable zombies. That's why it's more interesting to me is that
I think the Plagas are a bit more interesting too.
Because zombies is just so overplayed.
Mm-hmm.
But Plagas has that, like, the control factor. And then what I think is cool is that, like, these Plagas from 5 on is they have the immediate, like, control thing. We see it when they infect that one soldier.
Yeah, like, the parasite takes control of them super, super quick.
Because I like that, like, that's a plot point in number 4 is that Leon gets infected with the first variation of the Plagas, but it like takes nearly the entire game for him to like start getting controlled, and he's able to take it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then with this Plaga, oh no, like we've worked out the kinks, and now you immediately get controlled.
It is, the whole overarching story of Resident Evil is really fun.
Mm-hmm. Are we doing a bad job?
Yeah.
of killing the non-Ari fans?
Here's maybe a question. If you were, I think I might have asked you this earlier, but I think I'm curious to pick your mind a little bit more about it. What do you think is the first Resident Evil game someone just going into it should play?
Okay, yeah. I think you start with the number 2 remake.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can play the 3 remake if you're just there for the story. But I feel like those original games are just the tank controls, I feel like, are not accessible to a modern audience.
That's fair.
The tank controls can be a little like there's a big learning curve with them, I think.
There is. It's worth it though.
It is definitely worth it. But I feel like
we're big RE fans, if you can't tell. Out of the other 4 trillion things we just spout nonsense about.
I feel like for like a general gaming audience, though, I don't know if it's something that would necessarily work today. I don't know. Maybe
Resident
it could.
Evil 2 is recent, though. That works today. That game did great. But
that doesn't have the tank controls.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, the original tank controls are a bit rough. Like playing Resident Evil 4, even though I will say it's like, I think it might be my favorite.
That's also my favorite one, is RE4.
Until you get to 7 or 8, Cameron.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't played them yet.
I would say 2 for sure. I think you could also play 7 first if you wanted to. And 7 is like the revamped, like modern version that we see nowadays.
I have not played 7 yet because I'm trying to play them in order of release. But yeah, I think you could start with 7 because they redid it so much. I just think if you're like, oh, I want to jump into Resident Evil and start with the first one, you're not gonna enjoy your experience.
Yeah, that's actually a good caveat. Don't play the very first one for your first game in Resident Evil. I did that way back when. That was actually the first one I played, and I did what many other people did. Got through it a little bit and was like, man, this is a little bit dated.
Mm-hmm. Well, I bought...
It's fun, but you have to like know what you're getting into.
Yeah. You gotta set your expectations. Because I tried playing them right after I played Metal Gear Solid, and I thought it was going to be just like that, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think you go 2 remake, 3 remake, and then you could do 4. I do recommend going back and playing 1 once you get into it, because 1 is a phenomenal game. Like,
and there's 4 you can skip, 2 you cannot. If you're playing them, there's like, I think you could skip 3.
Yeah.
You could skip 0 for sure. You could skip 1 maybe.
No, you cannot skip 1. I firmly stand behind you cannot skip playing number 1.
Okay.
Number 1 is fantastic. I think for me, my favorite one is either 1 remake or number 4.
My favorite is 4 or 8.
Okay.
I really liked 8. What is your favorite? Our listeners.
if you have played Resident Evil.
Or if we got you to play any of them, we'd also love to hear that.
Jumping back into the movie. What did you think about Ada?
Ada was fine. I think it's whack that she had a kung fu fight with the president of whatever country they were in.
Yeah, but I liked that. That was so cool.
It was cool, but it was just like, so weird that I just didn't expect the president to be that well versed in like martial arts.
It was. That's what I loved about it, though, is that it was so out of the blue when the president just like broke into her fight choreography. But Ada is such a good character. I love her and Leon. Like, they have a good Batman-Catwoman relationship.
That's a good way to put it, actually. Yeah, Batman and Catwoman. I never thought of it like that.
Because
they both like each other, but Ada's always kind of doing evil things, and Leon's like, it's not my code, but damn.
Yeah. And then Ada's also like, Leon,
you're looking kind of good. Too bad I'm evil. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I thoroughly enjoyed the presidential fight, and when she was hanging captive and she had like the hidden knife in her heel.
Yeah.
That was awesome too. Classic Ada.
Classic Ada.
She's such a good femme fatale.
She's a good femme fatale.
Okay. I mean, we kind of mentioned the tyrants before, but what did you think about the tyrants?
They're a pretty boring design.
Yeah, it was like, really, you're just going Mr. X.
Yeah.
But
even their final form, I was like, Mr. X's final form was cooler.
yeah, I was like, this looks like a worse version of Titan Joker from Arkham Asylum. You played that game.
All the that's a good, all the Titan designs, not Titan. Tyrant, yeah. All the Tyrant designs in the Resident Evil games are so good. The one in Resident Evil 0, the one in RE1 that looks like the one in RE0, Mr. X, Nemesis, they're all so sick.
Yeah. Does El Gigante count as a tyrant? They don't really have tyrants in number 4. But yeah, I think one of the problems of this movie is that they can't really make any like big changes to the overall story. Like Leon even says it at the end when he's like, well, nothing's even really changed. Like, yeah, this really has no bearing over the main plot of the game.
So in between 5 and 6, Leon crippled a man. That's the main takeaway of this.
Yes. Like there's not really any sort of like,
there's nothing. If you didn't watch this movie, you would be missing absolutely nothing of the lore.
Yeah. You wouldn't miss a single thing because it's not even like that. Obviously, okay. Actually, I do want to see if this movie was made to promote number 6, but I've played through at the time of recording this, I've played through most of Leon's story in number 6, and this had no connection whatsoever. Like it has way more connections to 5 just with the Plagas 2. Mm-hmm. Like 6 is just regular zombies again. It seems like but it's called the C virus. I haven't learned about it completely yet because I've only played 4 chapters of Leon's story.
Interesting. Okay.
What was it? Damnation. Its IMDb has a 6.4 out of 10 and a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes as the audience score.
100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
No. The audience score is 69. I'm sorry. Nice. But 100% on their tomato meter critics scores. But it only has 5 reviews. So
100%? Really? That's weird.
No, I could see it, bro. This movie was awesome.
Yeah.
This movie was awesome.
They did have the scenes from the game in the end credits.
Yes, they did have their little
to promote the game
promotional thing. This just says that they used the character models from RE6 as reference to create the character models in this. And
okay.
And it sounded, I don't know if this is for sure, but it sounded like the same voice actors to me. Like Leon and Ada sounded like they do in RE6. Mm-hmm. And this was produced by Capcom and Sony Pictures Entertainment Japan. So like, I don't know, that there was like a real studio behind this. It wasn't like an Asylum movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it was well produced. The animation was all really good.
It was well produced. Yeah, I would agree. The animation was pretty solid. It wasn't anything like groundbreaking, but it was cool. There was a lot of shots in the movie, now that you mention it, where, all right, this is just like kind of like, in general, everything looks better in the dark when it comes to CGI. All the shots in the dark where like there was a couple shots where Leon was like moving around the flashlight in the dark, like, and you knew something was like moving around in there. That looked pretty well and it was pretty effective. But once they were like in daylight, you could kind of see that it didn't look as good.
I was just thinking that probably took away a bit from the Tyrants was being in the daytime. I feel agree. Like the Tyrants would have been way better underground, but or like in the dark, but they still looked like way too much like Mr. X.
100%.
Okay, fucking when was RE6? I just want to be able to find a link to RE6 on Wikipedia so I can look at the date. Okay, yeah, so this movie was released about 25 days after RE6.
Yeah, so they were in tandem together.
Yes. This movie was made to promote Resident
Which is funny
Evil 6.
because earlier I was like, I don't think this would draw in any new fans.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they wanted to make money off of the fans that were buying Resident Evil 6?
Yeah, I'm wondering what are the box office numbers on this? Like how... I mean, there's not really going to be box office figures because I don't think this had a theatrical release. Maybe it did in Japan.
Yeah.
It was released in Japan, made $2.3 million. But Japan was its only theatrical release, and we do not have... Oh, here we go. It has earned $3.3 million in home video sales. Let's see. I just want to know what was the budget. I don't know
if they made money back.
Yeah, I don't know if we have the budget figures on this. But yes, I really enjoyed it, but I don't think anyone that is not a Resident Evil fan would enjoy it.
Yeah. And if you don't know much about Resident Evil, Leon is much better than the man who crippled somebody. He's my favorite character.
Wait, Leon is your favorite character? Or
Leon. Not the man who got crippled.
Oh, yeah. The guy who got crippled was the worst.
He's my second favorite character.
He was not a good character, I will say.
But I'm saying like Resident Evil in general. Leon's my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, Leon is your favorite of all time? I'm going to have to go Jill.
Yeah. Jill's a good one. There's a lot of cool characters. That's
why I like the RE3 remake, is because Jill is so cool in that game.
Yeah, she is pretty dope in that game.
Yeah, big Jill fan.
Do you know what we're watching next?
Oh, another animated one. We got 3 animated ones back to back there.
And the next one we'll be watching comes from a series very near and dear to Cameron and I. It is the second animated Mortal Kombat movie by Warner Brothers. It's called Battle of the Realms. The first movie was sick. This movie I already know is going to be sick, so definitely watch it. And listen to us talk about it next week.
Yep. We hope you enjoyed.
Have a good one, everybody.
See you later.